Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of our iRacing NASCAR career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we are headed to Watkins Glen, a big episode on the way. Just 2 races remain in the regular season. Kimi Räikkönen is here making his NASCAR Cup Series debut, so that's going to be a fun weekend overall that I'm excited for. Microsoft Flight Simulator back in the next episode. It will be for the Daytona regular season finale, by the way. Very excited for that here as we were here in New York ready for some racing at the Glen. You can see Kimi Räikkönen on track for Trackhouse's first Project 91 race. Now this Project 91 from this point on is going to get turned into a mixture of real life drivers coming from international backgrounds to as well community members being thrown into some races in a 91 car as well. As you can see now, myself on track in a brand new Spotify number 21 Ford Mustang for Wood Brothers. Been a little bit since we've run a new paint scheme, but we got one here today. This was actually made by Matt Marutz, so big shout out to him. Beautiful paint scheme here on track. A lot of beautiful paint schemes here on track. Perfect time to plug Davis Warren and his trading paints here now. As you guys know already, he makes collections that represent real life races from current and past in the NASCAR Cup Series, and you can check him out down below in Trading Paints and actually get those collections for yourself. He's also selling tickets to select races. Make sure to check that out in the description if you would like to contact him, what races he's doing here now. But yeah, here we are in qualifying for Watkins Glen, and it's 2 laps that we get on track, and we of course got some road course experience under our belt this season as a Cup Series rookie. We already had some coming into the Cup Series to begin with, going overseas last year, but you can see actually invalidating my lap time there, so we actually had to rely on the second lap here before we could really get something in. And you can see currently Chase Elliott at the top of the board. We come in well above the cut line here in the playoff situation, so if we just come out of here with a I would say a top 20 finish, we'll be having no pressure at all going into the Daytona regular season finale. If things go wrong today, however, well, it'll be a different story in Daytona. Maybe a little bit of stress involved in that one here. Now, as you can see myself abusing the track limits, but they let you get away with it there. Out of the final turn, it was Michael McDowell who put his car P1, so McDowell looking like he's going to be on pole. Unless I have something to say about it, I didn't have anything to say about it. We qualified in the top 20. On the left side, you see the order Kvyat there. Daniel Kvyat, 2 former F1 drivers in the grid here, but we were P17 on the grid. So overall, a pretty solid qualifying effort. Not too disappointed with that. You see the top 10 as well, but McDowell on pole could win his way into the playoffs. Let's head to the grid at the Glen.
Trying to get second from Keselowski while he tries to get the lead from Kyle. Contact in the S's.
He got loose and tried to correct it, got into Sam. Goodness gracious. Just as we saw the other day. Wow, huge lick by Jeff Gordon.
Oh, big crash in turn number 2. David Ruderman.
Crash on track.
Oh, heavy contact, cars crashing. There's Hornish. 1 car in flames.
2 final corners. Do they use the bumpers? Ryan Newman hard into the wall. Michael McDowell hard into the wall.
Big contact. Came across the barrier. The 16 of Biffle involved.
A nudge, a push. Can Ambrose save it? Marcos Ambrose is going to win at Watkins Glen in a remarkable last lap turn of events.
Always cool to kind of go back and relive that finish from 2012 between Brad Keselowski and Marcus Ambrose. I've got to say, you know, top 3 finish all time in NASCAR history, especially in my lifetime as well. It'd be probably maybe the best, or top 2 at the bare minimum, honestly. It was absolutely incredible. But the stage is up on the screen briefly. We're getting underway as Michael McDowell, Joey Logano lead the field to the green flag, but it's 33 laps of racing here. Stages are 7. At the end of 7, we end stage 1. At the end of lap 17, we end stage 2, then go to the end of lap 33, of course, for the actual race itself. You can see McDowell led the way out of turn 1. You see the rest of the field fanning out here, 2, 3 wide possibly, as well as we head down towards these second, third, fourth turns, these little S's, as McDowell, though, leads the way. Michael McDowell is going to need to win a race to get himself into the playoffs, and here he is out in front now as I'm side by side with Ross the Boss Trask. Chastain down this short back straightaway towards this inner loop bus stop chicane. As you can see, everybody getting through here nice and smooth. A little bit wide in the background there. That's Kimi Räikkönen in the 91 actually right now, having a solid qualifying effort though. Räikkönen in the top half of the field. What a qualifying effort there from zero experience in a cup car. We'll see how that translates throughout the rest of this race here now. As we are currently getting the pass completed there on the one of Chastain, and now we have Tyler Reddick in the number 8 to try and run down here as we close in towards the back of him. Kurt Busch in the last episode announces he's of course retiring from NASCAR Cup Series competition at the conclusion of this season, but at least he gets to have a run at the playoffs one final time, unlike what he unfortunately did not get to have in real life. And I will be very simply honest, I will be having the same moves in Real Life Replicate 2023 with Tyler Reddick replacing Kurt Busch in that number 45. As actually, here we are up the inside of Justin Haley, going into the penultimate corner now on lap number 2. A little bit close quarters there with him, but we do get the pass completed on the colleague driver. So up another spot we go. Following him, we got Chastain as well as Alex Bowman, but that was a move that put us into P17. We did lose a spot on that opening lap of the actual race, but now you can say just quite simply back to where we started as we're trying to run down the 43 of Eric Jones. Then you got Reddick up there, you got Kimi Räikkönen as well, who's holding his own currently in that top 15. You can see though, lap 4 of 7 in stage 1, closing in already on the back of this group in front of us. So we got good speed in this car, and I expected to have good speed in this car, and you can see that gap was just dwindling between myself and that 43, and that's what I like to see. And we come through to lap 5, 3 laps to go in the stage. They're just a little bit closer and closer, really just about every corner, but I could tell, you know, we didn't have a car that was going to be downright capable of winning this race, but you can see that things would kind of change towards the end of lap 5. We had actually managed to close right up to the back of the 43 of Jones, just now waiting for the right opportunity to make a move on this 43. Now, as we approach this final lap, though, of the stage, we're only going to get one shot at the focus factor as well, Petty GMS driver. You can see through the S's. This is my opportunity. I got through the S's really good. Look at the momentum comparison between myself and Jones. We're going to swing to the right side, nearly some contact there on his quarter panel. We're going to be drag racing here into this bus stop chicane. Who's going to lift first? It's going to be the 43. He kind of fights back right there, and I go a little bit sideways. We do save it. We do get past him, and now actually we're alongside Tyler Reddick briefly, but he stays clear down into this long sweeping right hand carousel in front of us. Some battles happening as well. As you can see up front, the battles continue. There's Austin Dillon with Jay Cook, rookie as well. I get back to the left side of Reddick right there, caught him off guard, and now we'll move up the inside into that penultimate corner. We should be able to complete the pass no problem, and it's Michael McDowell who's way out in front winning stage 1, as Christopher Bell and Chase Elliott are going to follow through for second, third. Through Logano Suarez, much needed points there. Joey Hand in the top 10. Austin Cindric going to get the final stage point. We're going to come through to cross the line behind that 91 of Räikkönen there after getting past the 8 of Reddick. That's going to be P15 for us here in stage 1. So overall, very solid effort. Now, if we pit now with the new field changes, we would be really, really close on field, but I wasn't comfortable pitting. I didn't feel like we could make it, so I decided to stay out and look like everybody actually agrees that it's just not going to work out. However, there is a group of cars in the back. Todd Gilliland, Bubba Wellness, Kurt Busch, Martin Truex Jr., Briscoe, Hesmans, a few back markers as well coming into the pits, so they are going to be really, really close on field. It'll be interesting to see if they can actually make it or not, and that would not be a good thing for this part of the field. Of course, that stayed out the other 3/4 of the pack, but we were back already underway for the start of stage 2, and Michael McDowell with a great launch down into turn 1. He's gotten a playoff point if he makes the playoffs, and even if he doesn't win here in Watkins Glen, he's already giving himself a good chunk of points to go into Daytona, where he has a win in his career, Daytona 500 in 2021. So I'm not really going to write off that 34 of McDowell quite yet here, as you can see as well. If we get a new winner, it becomes a race between myself and whoever else is in the playoffs on points, which right now is the 4 of Kevin Harvick. Through the bus stop chicane, McDowell with a nice gap already over the 9 of Elliott. You can see everybody just kind of understanding the assignment. I say that in the background, Cindric going at it with the 15 of Hand, and Keselowski nearly into the side of the 15 of Joey Hand. I'm right behind this battle as well with a fantastic viewpoint of it, but you can see them going side by side. Big sideways right there on the exit of the carousel. What a save we just made in the NZXT Spotify number 21. We continue on, only losing one position, so that could have been a lot worse. That was an absolutely massive save right there that we just made. We continue on after giving up that position. 23 laps to go overall in the race, but the stage comes to a close at the end of lap 17. Corey LaJoy just behind myself in that number 7 machine. Now to lap 13, 21 to go through that chicane. You can see we were closing in again on the drivers in front of us, and I definitely think we have a top 10 car, but you really just got to be patient and just slowly pick off cars here at these road courses in the iRacing AI. You really pay the price if you're too aggressive, so I was, well, quite simply just trying to not be too aggressive here now, and you can see that as we hit the next lap, just getting a little bit closer, just biding my time, just knowing that I just need to be patient, like I said, and you can see Eric Jones up there trying to move his way forward, and I am just creeping up on these guys slowly but surely, and then we still have Corey LaJoy just behind us, having a fantastic run in P15, but I was slowly pulling away from him as well. 19 laps to go. You see Jones with a weird line. He was actually getting overtaken by Joey Hand, but that was perfect for me because they were battling through the S's, and it allows me to do this right here, get closer and closer to the back of them. What are the cars up there going a bit defensive? That's Keselowski now into this bus stop chicane, and now, well, we're back in this battle with these guys here, but only a couple laps of racing to go in the stage, so we're not going to have much time to scrap it out nearly into the right rear quarter of Eric Jones now as we exit the carousel down this short straightaway here, trying to stay with them in these closing moments now as we approach at this point lap 16 into the outside wall, actually briefly, but you saw Ricky Stenhouse Jr. right there had come into the pit lane with 2 laps to go on the stage. I was very curious to see what that was about, so we're actually going to take a quick look at what just happened at the 47. So there was actually a bit of a moment going down into the bus stop. Watch that 47 right there in the Kroger machine. He locks up, and then Cindric and him actually come together. Cindric goes wide through the grass as well, but he saves it, and then Stenhouse would eventually come into the pit lane. So I'm not sure exactly why Stenhouse pitted. Was it from the contact, or was it a result of whatever happened there before the contact with the lockup going into the chicane? But final lap now of stage 2 underway. Cindric currently P10. Penske has certainly been very well informing me that we want to get Austin Cindric into the playoffs, and we're going to do what it takes to get Austin Cindric in the playoffs, and him getting stage points is very helpful, but it's certainly looking like we're going to have to go into Daytona and assist Austin Cindric into the playoffs in whatever way possible. So we're going to do our best next episode to, you know, help our teammate maybe win his way in, or our Lions teammate, I should say. But you can see now Joey Hand going at it right there with Keselowski. Cindric's definitely going to hold on to P10 a little bit sideways there on the exit of that carousel. Again, when you jump up over that curb, it really is dangerous. It's very easy to lose control of the car, but it's Michael McDowell who has swept the first 2 stages here from Watkins Glen. Elliott Bell there in the top 3. Suarez again in the top 5. Priest in the top 10. He's in a must-win scenario to make the playoffs at this point, as you see Cindric holds on to that final stage point there. So he's only picked up 2 points, but those 2 points could be a big difference here going into Daytona now, as everybody would stay out on the track here, which is now meaning that everybody that pitted at the end of stage 1 is still going to be really close. They might have to pit, they might make it, we don't know. I didn't want to risk giving up track position, so I decided to stay out with everybody else and just accept the fact that we actually are going to make a green flag pit stop. I have, gotten in the back before at road courses this season, and it's turned into complete disasters nearly every time for myself, and I didn't want to put any risk on having that happen again here today in Watkins Glen. So we're going to come into the pit lane here momentarily towards the end of this race, and I'm very curious to see how this is going to work itself out. Pace car is off, and now we are ready to go back green flag racing. Michael McDowell has dominated this race so far. Can he continue that dominance now? I'm already trying to make a look up the inside 3 wide of Joey Hand and our Alliance teammate of Austin Cindric. Not quite comfortable sending one, but actually Hand makes a mistake. I did not run into the back of him. He just ran wide right there, but he's actually going to stay ahead anyways here now as I back out of it, going into the S's side by side with Cindric, and he's going to fade in behind myself, so we get clear of the number 2, and we take the position away from him. He's now under attack from Cup Series rookie of Kimi Räikkönen, who completes the pass. What a fantastic effort from the 91, Project 91 for Trackhouse Racing, driven by Kimi Räikkönen there. You saw Hesmans there go a little bit wide now, as you can see everybody fanning through this bus stop chicane. Now I'm all over the back of a fellow rookie here of Jay Cook, not able to quite make anything happen with him. Here comes Räikkönen. He's going to pass me on the inside as well. He's moving forward. Here comes Cindric as well. Contact with Cindric. He runs me wide, gave me zero room to work with. He just simply door slammed me there. Now we're still side by side towards the penultimate corner. Not a huge fan of how he just raced me right there, but it is what it is. It wasn't egregious, but it was certainly something to kind of keep in mind, make a note of here now, as we're still side by side into the final turn. Cindric gonna take the position. If we were still side by side there, he would have ran me in the wall. You see the replay. He just simply door slammed me. I mean, I never went over into him. He just simply came across into me. Now, as we come through out of turn 1 through the S's again, a lap later, still sticking with that number 2 of Cindric, and there's a mistake right there on the apex. Opens the door wide open for myself to make a move to the outside of Cindric on the exit of the S's. Down the straightaway, Cindric runs us now into the grass, into the barrier. We go, we save it, we keep it going there, but that's the second time in 2 laps. Cindric this time just straight up doored us into the guardrail. Yeah, you better hope I don't get back to him. Not very happy on the radio. You see why. I mean, what am I supposed to do there? I mean, he just simply ran me out of room and into the barrier. And I mean, we were just talking about how Penske wants me to, not just myself, but the whole team, to help this guy get into the playoffs. And here he is, fellow rookie, maybe scared that I'm going to take his ride at the top team of Penske next year. He just decides to run me off the circuit into the barrier. No clue what in the world he was trying to do there. And I just didn't have the pace after this. And it did damage to the car. I can't confirm there was damage done to the car, but you can see right here, 10 laps to go, everybody is coming into the pit lane actually, so that is going to bring myself into the pit lane soon. I didn't want to pit with everybody else because it would be a log jam, so I decided we're going to come in a lap later. We don't need a full tank of fuel to make it to the end of this race at the time that we're pitting, so we come through a lap later, 9 laps to go, leading the race now into the pit lane, getting down to pit speed. Unfortunately, I make a pretty unfortunate error. I accidentally forgot to change the amount of fuel I put in the car, and then I missed my pit stall. I had to back up as well. I accidentally filled the tank all the way, so that meant that everybody around me was going to pass me because nobody else took a full tank of fuel, and I was going to go to the back of the pack because everybody only took like half a tank, and I was screwed. You can see here, this is everybody that pitted on the first stage yellow, staying out on the track, and now it's starting to look like everybody that pitted at the end of stage 1 actually might make it to the end of this race. It is close, but I think they're going to make it, unfortunately, which makes matters even worse for a driver like Michael McDowell. Maybe a bit better for me, because Kurt Busch is currently leading this race over Bubba Wallace. The 47 is multiple laps down. Bubba Wallace trying to get his first win and get into the playoffs. He has to beat his teammate to do it, but Kurt Busch is not going to make it easy here in his final season. He wants to get as many wins as he possibly can. Kurt Busch looking now, all of a sudden, at being handed his second win of the season, as Daniel Kvyat is in the top 5 with Martin Truex Jr., Todd Gilliland having another good run. He's going to Stuart Haas Racing in that number 10 car in place of Eric Almirola next season, as we know from this iRacing career mode. There you see McDowell, but just going through the field, and you're not seeing the 21 NZXT Spotify car anywhere until there. We were way behind because, like I said, I accidentally left all the fuel ticked on for the pit stop, and while everybody else only took like half a tank. So we lost a ton of time. We were not even in the top 35. We were P37 with 5 laps to go. A costly error that could be very costly going into Daytona, but I decided to punt Ross Chastain. I was still annoyed with him from what happened to the Brickyard, so I just used that as my opportunity to just shove him out of the way. Ryan Blaney all the way back here as well. Some big names back here, and actually Ryan Blaney finishes here with Larson towards the top 10. I think Larson is going to lock up the regular season championship here pretty easily now, as I'm side by side with the 31 down into the bus stop, very aggressive into there, and we fortunately make it work in another position gained, and every point is going to matter now. Just a few laps remain, and Kurt Busch is still out in front of Bubba Wallace, and it's not much of a contest. I'm running my fastest laps of the race here late in the day, but but it's just unfortunate because obviously we're stuck all the way back here. Now approaching the final lap here in Watkins Glen. Kurt Busch is about to take the white flag here as I'm all over the back of the 48 of Alex Bowman and just really frustrated at this point, as you could imagine. Actually into the back of the 48, really showing that we've got a lot of speed in this car. Just things didn't work out again, and we've had these road courses have a lot of moments this season that have really lost us some points. In Road America we had issues, Sonoma we had issues, but we rebounded to a runner-up finish to our Alliance teammate of Ryan Blaney as I decided to just full-blown punt the 48 down into turn 1. He slowed up way earlier than I expected. Now Ty Dillon in front of us, rumored to be going to that Dodge team next season and bringing Allegiant with him, so we'll stay tuned on what's going on there, as Noah Gragson might end up in that 42 car for 2023 season here in iRacing career mode. But now on this final lap here in Watkins Glen, fortunately we're not going to have a new winner unless something big happens to Kurt Busch, but everybody that pitted at the end of stage 1 can make it to the end. We have found a big mistake there. We've lost control. We've put it head on into the barrier. We have completely crashed here on the final lap in Watkins Glen. A big choke there, and there goes another 5 or 6 points potentially, as Kurt Busch has won here in Watkins Glen, his second win of the season. Bristol, and now Watkins Glen as the rest of the field comes through to the line. Daniel Kvyat in the top 10. A great run for the F1 drivers of him and Raikkonen all day long. We cross the line for an embarrassment here as we're P38 in Watkins Glen. Absolutely unacceptable result from myself here in the Glen when it was looking like a shot at a top 10. We made mistakes with the pits, and obviously on the final lap it got even worse here. There it is, the points right now at the conclusion of this episode. Martin Truex Jr. is locked in on points by 111 to the good. It's really between myself and Harvick, so if we have a new winner, it's about a 36-point battle between myself and Kevin Harvick. But right now, we're 57 to the good. Our Alliance teammate of Cindric, who we're trying to help win in Daytona, 36 out, so we're definitely going to have to try and help him win. Suarez, 21 out, so it's really a battle between Harvick, Suarez, and that's really it to see what happens in Daytona, where anything can happen in Daytona, but everything is really spread out lately, but we at least had a cushion to fall back on, and that puts us pretty good shape going into Daytona. As long as we don't have a new winner, we should be okay, and a rookie in the playoffs. That's going to do it for me. Unfortunate ending, but I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys in the next one for the regular season finale. Thank you for watching one more time. Have yourselves a great day.